So, welcome. What we'll do today is as part of our seventh series for preparing seven episodes of preparing competitively. We today will focus on how do we craft deeper stories. You'd ask me, what does that mean? And we have few folks joining in for the first time. We'll just do a quick recap on what is the structure of a story. A very quick recap. I'm going to open up, you know what, I will minimize these ones. So there are four elements to a story. So, so the first element is you should have characters. Your story should have characters. The next part is your story should have a problem. Let's call them as a conflict. God, this is easier. Uh, Characters means you are a character. If you in your story you are bringing your family members, they are character. Your school teacher is a character. So those are characters. Then we bring in a conflict. There's a problem. The characters are facing a problem. This is the problem, the conflict. Then once we have a conflict, and these are the basic structure of a story, we then move into there is a solution, or let's call it as a resolution. So characters are facing some problem, and your speech is all about how all the characters go through a journey of how the problem is solved, a problem is resolved, and in the end, we have the most critical thing that we have is emotions. Listening to your story, the audience will feel a certain emotion. These are the four basic building blocks of stories. Today, we are going to take it one more level up. We are going to level up. And I actually want to coach you on stories. If you have any stories, I will ask one of you to come in, and if you want to share, I will coach you how to take any ordinary story. I'll just make it characters and make it really extraordinary. So from ordinary to extraordinary, what does it take? Now, before we move on to that coaching part, let's cover. Uh, we've understood these are the four elements of a story, but let's understand the traditional hero's journey. So you'd have heard about the hero's journey, right? So hero's journey is once upon a time, there was a hero. Then what happened was hero had a vision, but hero did not believe on his vision. He basically lacks self-confidence. Then and then hero was doing his normal routine, doing his no or leading his normal life. I'll just type in leading his normal life. But he was pretty. The emotional state was he was pretty unhappy. And then hero was unhappy. Then suddenly he starts observing because he is not doing something. There's a big problem he's facing. Like this, I'll make it big. He is facing a big problem. Like he is not paying his debts, or it's external to him. So it's not under his control. But he knows that he can solve it. but he does not have the confidence. Then we have, I'll zoom in here. Then we have a mentor. Mentor comes in and tells, I see something in you, which, but you can do it. Then hero tells, hero doesn't believe the mentor. Then something more tragic happens to the hero. Let's call it as escalating tension. And when something more tragic happens, the hero thinks, I don't have any other way. I have to go. I have to solve the problem. Then hero starts approaching the mentor. Now I'm again creating a framework for you. Now, as I repeat these things, these are the elements which all the master storytellers follow similar frameworks. Not everything, but follows similar frameworks. And I'll have a very nice homework for you. Imagine giving a homework of watching movies. Do you like watching movies? Is it not? I'll give you homework today is using this framework, go and watch your favorite movie. Not any, let's say, not any cartoon movie, but watch a movie that's won an Oscar award, or if it's in your regional language, it has won certain film awards. Watch that movie. So escalating tension, then hero approaches, hero goes to mentor, and mentor inspires him. Mentor inspires hero. Inspires hero. Once mentor inspires hero, then hero takes action. Once hero takes action, then finally hero solves the problem. That's it. And then they lived happily ever after. That is, my friends, that is the story of a hero's journey. That's the classical one. If you go to any movie that you have seen and you really liked it, I want you to take this framework. I'll share this presentation with you. You can take this from there. This is the classical story of a hero's journey. This is what the master storytellers call it as a hero's journey. And depending on the movie, the director decides to spend time, sometimes more on the problem, sometimes more time goes into the escalating tension, and and sometimes in hero taking action. Again, depending on the director's creativity, we create it. Now, there are other types of stories as well, but let's focus on the basic hero's journey. Now, coming back to our PowerPoint presentation. So, because we just had a backgrounder, okay, I just have to be mindful of the time. We then move on to why do some stories connect strong and some stories just flop? The other day, I heard, this week, I heard two great speeches, one by MJ and one by Steve. Both are terrific stories around their own personal journey. Steve was speaking about his journey of he was in love with his car, and how he created a personification around his car. And that was a terrific speech. Maithili told about there's some invisible force that is pushing her towards her goals, but she cannot point out what. But she knows it's there, and that gives her confidence. There's another story which I evaluated was Tushar's speech was a contrarian speech. It was more analytical, did not have much of a story, but more analytical. We'll come to contrarian stories later. But irrespective of all these stories, some stories connect strong. You feel a story just can be ordinary. Some story can be as ordinary as a child going to school or a person going to the bus stop or you going to your office. And by the time you suddenly you miss the train, and the directors create or the master storytellers take an ordinary story and craft it to an extraordinary level. And hence, as the audience, I feel connected with some stories. But sometimes some stories people tell, I'll be listening, I'm not able to connect with that speaker. So why do some stories connect strong is what is today's focus. And you'd ask me, why do I care? I'm here to improve myself. Yes. My public speaking skills. Yes. But why do I care about connecting with my audience? Now, I'll repeat it again. Going back to Aristotle's triangle of rhetoric of ethos, pathos, and logos, your speech is not a speech if the audience doesn't care for you and your characters and your speeches. Otherwise, it's just a monologue. You are talking to become a level three or the great speaker that you are. You have to let the audience care about your message because you're giving a speech. You want the audience to take care of the message and do something with it. In fact, a presentation is nothing but a presentation means it's a gift you are giving to your audience. If I don't care about my own speeches, how will the audience care about mine? So it starts about caring for our own speeches. Then we'll just straight jump into how. I'm going to just drop the bomb and tell you use these 5 tips for crafting your hero's journey and take the audience to a deeper level. Number one, put the conflict right at the introduction. If you have seen my feedback to people, I have always, and most Toastmasters would always tell, thank you, Toastmaster, thank you, and get rid of it. No need to tell good evening, thank you, get rid of it. When you start, introduce the conflict early. That means in the introduction, just think about watching a crime series like horror movie or a crime episode. You see, there's a dead body on the floor. Uh, the lights, there's a knife next to it. The story is already in motion. This is where I challenge you is
What is
to
the example? Sorry. What is the example of early conflict?
early conflict, right? So you are putting in a problem first. Your story has to have a conflict, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that when do you introduce the conflict now? You introduce it mid-level,
Mm.
right? By the time the audience might have slept. What we
So
are
you just have
trying
to
to,
say, start like, okay, I'm in deep trouble, something like that.
we'll work on it. I'll give you an example. You are not telling, and again, you are not in deep trouble. Your character is in deep trouble, not you. And this is what we are talking about. When you write speeches, don't make yourself a hero. Make yourself as a character. Make the story all about the mentor. A mentor can be the book, mentor can be somebody in your life. For example, in Sujata's speech, mentor, the hero is her dad who kept on inspiring Sujata, go to this school. And that mentor figure was always going on. So, Sujata, I was just referring to your speech earlier. So,
Yes, yes.
how I would rewrite that speech was, I will open the scene with your father and daughter having a chat with English. Okay, just to give a background, Sujata gave a speech. She spoke about her, and this was a icebreaker. She spoke about Sujata, if I may. Is it okay? I just revamp your.
Absolutely. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we started with Sujata started with regional India, where she came from, where English, and her father was inspiring her to to become a global citizen, like learn English and then move on to lead a better life. So he had three principles, and Sujata crafted it nicely. The conflict which I want to Sujata to put in is, if we are putting in the introduction, I'm just looking at the time. Introduction, then the conflict starts with a dialogue, and I'll come to the fifth point is
I see.
dialogue
Got it.
between a father and the daughter. Tell me this sentence in English, and Sujata is looking up in the sky. And what are they teaching you in English? Sujata then tells, they're teaching me in Kannada, English in Kannada. So, did you understand, Sujata? So, we
Yeah,
are
yeah. Got it.
in
Got it.
conflict.
Yes.
And once we put in the conflict, your audience sits at the seat edges, leans forward, and it's like a movie waiting for things to happen. And what we'll do is, I think next session, we'll pause this seven series. We'll take a couple of speeches. We will dismantle it and put that in the framework with all the Lego pieces. Okay. So, Sujata, I think that answered your
Oh,
question.
yes, yes. Move on. Yep, yep. Please. Thank you.
The second point, early conflict, you have to invite your audience into your story. How do I do that? You have to invite using words by because speech is not a monologue, it's a dialogue between your characters and the speaker and also the audience. You tell friends, come with me to this place. Say, for example, we are having the scenario, right, between Sujata and her dad. You look at the audience and tell, if you are here with me, watching my dad and watching me, what would you feel? So that those kind of words are inviting the audience into your story. Because if you don't invite the audience will always not feel emotionally involved in your story. They'll always feel, okay, that is her story. What is in it for me? So that is invitation. Third point is you care for your stories. Yeah, I told earlier. You have to care for your characters of your stories, because if you care, you will craft your characters in detail. So, what do you mean by crafting characters? Say, going back to Sujata's stories, and if I have a stage, I will act as Sujata's dad as a speaker and kneel down. How would a dad speak to a daughter who is, say, 10 years old? He would kneel down and speak. And when you kneel down and speak, you are creating a dialogue. It's not theatrical. It's not theater. We are not acting. We are entering into the character of dad and speaking to our daughter. And because you care so much for your character, you craft them. You because you worked so hard with your characters, the audience naturally cares for you. So that is, you are carefully crafting your characters. Then you hold the audience hand and take them on your journey by using you language. That means you are also acknowledging the audience's presence when you take them into storytelling and all, the audience is in a hypnosis or trance-like state. That is the reason you have to constantly remind them and acknowledge the audience's presence by using you language, which you discussed a few sessions back. Philip asked that wonderful question. Using you language, that means asking rhetorical questions. How do you feel? What do you see? So, crafting them, taking them on a journey. And then finally, the last point is putting in a structure. You put in a scaffold for your framework of stories, and then in the structure, you can then decide you become the efficient, like the master director, the creative director, and focus on, do you want to put this focus on the problems, or do you want to focus on the solutions or the action, or do you want to focus on the message, the last bit or message? It's pick and choose. So that, my friends, is the so I just covered the hero's journey. I had intended to finish it at the end, but this is the basic 5 elements of deeper storytelling. Because when you now, what I've given you is a pair of glasses. Now you'll wear this deeper story framework glasses and deeply study each story that you see. Take a book, watch a movie, and ask yourself, why did I cry in that movie? Why? Why did I laugh in that movie? End of the day, the actors are acting. I know it's not real, but I cried. If it's a horror movie, why did I get so much scared when I saw the ghost? Why? And when we develop that attitude of curiosity, we start asking these questions, we start getting our own answers. And if you remember here, I'm not giving you answers. I am asking you to start exploring your own journey. We'll pause here for questions. 6 minutes left. But what I want you to do is take one movie. Your best movie homework is a homework is to watch a movie. Take your pen, take the hero's journey, and jot down all the elements. And do you see the meta structure popping out? And once you see a couple of movies, you start seeing a framework. In the end, it has a problem. It might put you off movies at all. It's the same structure. I want something different. Then you go and watch Memento, which is a different structure. It starts at the end and finishes at the beginning, uh, or Gajini in our Indian movie style. So these are meta structures. You start enjoying basic storytelling, different structures. We know the base structure, and I openly, or not say, I should gently challenge you to start rethinking and rewriting your stories. If you have given a story in the past, pick that speech up and rewrite it in the new structure. And that potentially might be a competition speech. We pause here. I will take questions. Any questions so far?
Anshul, I had a question. Like, I understand stories, storytelling. When you are trying to, say, talk about world peace, for example,
Mm,
hypothetically, like, there's so much work going on, and how you
mm,
advocate, like, maybe you have two, three things that people should do so that, it could encourage everybody to live peacefully, hypothetically.
mm.
So, in that, uh, like, how do I understand that we need to talk about the
One
conflict
point.
first? Have,
Maithili, one point.
mm-hmm.
We cannot have 3 points in our speech. So, 1 point, one story, the end.
Okay.
Because 7 minutes is not enough. You need an hour to have 3 points. Seven.
Right.
So we go with the story and point framework. We tell a
Mm.
point, put in a story, and then put in a message of action. And in your story, you craft. So your question was, how do I pack so much in 7 minutes? Was that?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that and like, with stories, you also might have like pros and you might want to add in two stories. One talking about, how it improved you, or, why you are advocating
One
this.
story, 7 minutes. We are
And
talking competition. One story, not two stories. And practically, two stories don't fit in a 7 minutes because then you have to build up, you have to write about your characters, right? You have to go through that journey. And why movies are so powerful than watching news, right? Because movies, you craft a story where a hero is facing challenges that there's so much war, and the whole story is what are the effects of war, and you have to keep escalating the hero's problem, and how did the hero solve it, and then give the point.
okay, get your
Yeah.
point.
So because we are now entering into advanced concepts of metaphors. Your story is a big metaphor of solution.
Mm.
Sometimes our points are not understood, but a story with points is easily understood. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
But again, for competitions, just one point, one
Mm.
story.
Story.
Because you have to build your characters, you have to
Mm.
build a conflict. If you have
Mm.
two stories, you'll start skipping many things in the structure.
Mm.
So then, yeah, it becomes challenging.
Thanks. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I do have a few questions actually.
Yeah.
Now we are done with the icebreaker speech.
Hmm.
So what will be our next? I know from the portal, yes, there are other levels.
Yeah.
So the next speech, should it be in aligned with the whatever the portal says, or you have to do anything, any other story?
Okay. Again, as I said to MJ earlier, you have to be controversial. I'm very controversial on my methodology. Uh, if you go with Toastmasters, I'll tell you what they do. Speech number one is icebreaker. Speech number two is speak with purpose. Speech number three is use voice and body language.
Yeah.
Done. Speech number four is repeat the same speech with the feedback. Done. For me, it is okay, but we are entering into the advanced realm of preparing presentation. What you could do potentially is once you understand these different aspects, you take one more story and you prepare your own goal. Like it goes back to defining your own goals. If your goal is to present in a seminar, like Sujata, you have to present in a seminar, your stories would be crafted to get into that target. Like, how can I create a story and put a point? Create a story effectively. Because they will tell about stories. I think they tell stories everywhere, but then the materials, unfortunately, are not that great. The pathways,
Mm-hmm.
Jata. You
Okay.
can read through, but it feels like it's written by AI, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah, Simon, I got
Philip?
one. I need one clarifications. You mentioned I had a memento and basic structure or something like that. I totally miss out the context as well as the meaning. I mean, so.
Okay. Okay, so I told about the hero's journey, right? It starts with the
Mm,
hero, then has a conflict problem, and then as the conflict escalates, and then the hero starts solving with the help of the mentor. Sometimes certain stories start at the end. So if you watch a movie known as Memento,
oh, okay.
MEMENTO or Memento,
Mm, mm,
you should see how the director has crafted it. Or in fact, if you watch Inception, it has a
mm,
story inside a story. You watch
mm,
Matrix. uh, it's again, these are all different meta structures.
mm,
But if you see the general, like Star Wars, for example, it has the same structure of the story that we are discussing.
mm.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
Philip?
Yep. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome.
Mm.
7:32. I'll take two more questions and we'll wrap it up. If you are leaving, thanks for joining. We'll catch again next week. Next week, I want you to bring one story, and let's craft together. Let's build a story together. So then we show to everybody how we we take any ordinary story and make it extraordinary. Would that work for you? And
Yep.
you can actually use it for your speeches and contest speech.
Thank you.
Yeah. All good. Anything else? If not, let's wrap up. I'll see you next week then. Any feedback, do let me know. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.